you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. We are continuing our Fifth Ward series, and I have my co-host tonight, Mr. Art Smith from the famous Fifth Ward, Texas, who has, thank you, Art, for coming in and bringing Eric Russell Ell in tonight. Russell's going to talk to us about a federal case. He did 17 years in the federal penitentiary from 1989 to 2007. And we don't get as many stories about the federal system as we do the state system. But, you know, my goal is to educate about the criminal justice system through people's stories. So tonight, let's jump right on in, Eric. Eric, thank you for agreeing to tell your story. If you want to talk to me, look here. If you want to really say something impactful to the audience, just look at the camera. But tell me, tell me who you are. I know Art is very proud of you. Getting out and really doing the thing, you know, in Houston, life after prison, proud of the businesses you've owned. So, you know, we'll get to the end on how you overcame, but at the beginning, I want to start from childhood. Tell me about you and who raised you and how you were raised.
Well, I was raised by my mom in Fifth Ward on Lee Street. Went to school, finished school.
What school did you finish?
Phyllis Wheatley.
Okay. All right, what year did you finish?
81.
Okay.
Finished from Philly Wheeler in 1981.
Okay.
Left school, started working. Had my first daughter, and boy, it was hard. And here come the crime.
Really? So when you had your first daughter, so a lot of people start crime in high school, even sometimes middle school. How did you escape that as a young man?
There wasn't any criminals. You know, I mean, the criminal was adults. They wasn't children. I mean, from the part of Fifth Ward, you know, Fifth Ward is like 4 sections. I'm from the Hester House. I'm from that area. So, you know, children wasn't, I don't have any childhood friends that
did crime.
You know, we didn't.
And you said your mother was an educator too. So.
Yes. So, I mean, you know, it's just a choice. But I've never masterminded any crime. You know, I always jumped in. If you had something going on and, you know, hey, man, you want them? And I jump in. Same thing once I got into the drug life. Just somebody, hey, man, there's money over here. I'm like, okay, got in and got the money.
But so when you graduated from high school and you were trying to figure out what to do, what were you thinking at 18? What did you want to do with your life?
Wasn't thinking. Just
living.
Yeah, just living. Whatever comes, that's what I did. Whatever comes,
you had a good mom, good dad, so your mom's telling you to do something with your life. How are you interacting with her when you get out of high school?
Well, you know, even though mom was an educator, she was, you know, the household just was, it was like poor.
Right.
You know, even though she was working 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, the household was poor.
Your father wasn't in the house?
No. I mean, he was around.
How many children were in your family? Oh, 8. So she had a lot of kids, yeah.
Yes.
So it's hard to take care of 8 kids.
I just always told myself, man, you know what? I don't want to live like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not knowing that was the right way to live all the time.
Right. Well, life teaches you that, doesn't it? So tell me what the first criminal activity you got involved with.
When the first the first 2 times I went to jail, I went to jail for something I absolutely didn't do.
What was that?
The first time I went to jail, Southwest Houston, a friend of mine named Cartoon called me. He needed a ride. He was over his girlfriend's house. I went over there to pick him up, and he decided to break in a vehicle. He broke in the vehicle, and I'm sitting in the car waiting for him to come out of his girlfriend's house, and the security done seen him break in the vehicle. He gets in the car with me, kicks the radio under the car, and I go to jail for burglary of a motor vehicle.
Does he go to jail?
Yes.
Okay.
But he wasn't smart enough to tell them that, hey, I didn't have nothing to do with it. So I end up in jail, and you know how once you get in jail, you just want to get out.
Right.
You know, hey man, we can give you probation if you.
So you couldn't afford a bond?
No.
Okay. So you just took probation?
Took the probation, got out.
Okay.
Second time I went to jail, a friend of mine, I ain't gonna even call his name, he called me and my brother, he had that's when they had them new Grand Prix was out with the PMD seats in them. Called my brother, asked him did he want
What's
the seats.
that?
It's some seats,
Some special seats.
special seats. And me and my brother, called my brother. We went over there, parked behind the car, and here come the police.
So who wanted the seat, your brother or you?
My brother.
Okay, so you drove him there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went to jail for auto theft. Those are the 2 state cases that I caught that I actually had nothing to do with it. Other than that, I've never been in any state trouble.
Okay. All right, so your brother wanted to steal the seats.
No, my brother wanted the seats. He didn't. They had already stole the vehicle. He was just getting the seats.
Oh, I see.
See, a friend of ours already had stole the vehicle.
And it was just stuff there, so people
Yeah.
just taking what they want off the car, off
Yeah.
the stolen
Well,
car.
no, it wasn't just stuff there. 2 friends of ours stole the vehicle.
Okay.
They got what they wanted off the vehicle. They knew my brother wanted the PMD seats, and they called us. We was going to get the seats.
Okay.
By the time we got there, we pull up behind the car, me and my brother in his car, and 5 minutes later, the police pull up,
Okay.
and there goes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's some time in there for you, man.
That is. Were you still on
That's some
probation
time
at
in
the
there.
time?
Yes, I ended up getting another probation.
Okay, well, that's not too bad. Got a second probation. So how'd that go? Did you ever fill it, or did you end up going to prison? Did you finish those 2 probations?
Let me see, I had an 8-year probation. No, I don't think I finished them.
Both of them were 8 years?
Yeah, they ran them together.
Okay.
Yeah, they was 8-year probation.
That's a long time, man.
Mm-hmm.
For a probation, 8, that's a long time now.
It is a long time.
8.
I mean, when you have an attorney who's, he's just trying to speed you through, I mean, that's how it go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the system is. The system is not set up to, they have the justice system is a system, and it runs like this. It's, it's not black or white. It's just a system. And that's how the system works. Hey, we got to get you through there. And they get you through there, and you sitting in jail. You don't want to. Who wants to sit in jail?
No, right. Mm-hmm. So once you get the second probation, you think you violated? You think like a weed violation, like you?
No, I've never smoked marijuana in my life.
Really?
I've never drank it. I had one drink in my life when I was, I think, maybe 21, 22. Had one drink in my life. When I take that back, I did when we was in 11th grade. Me and my cousin and some of our friends who we hung together with all the time, they used to always smoke weed on the way to school. And I was riding with them. They used to call me Squarehead. So, because I didn't, and one day I hit it, act a fool in school, went to the principal's office, got popped. I've never did it. No, I've never did any drugs. I've never did any drugs.
Well, that's good.
No drinking. Everything I did, I was clear-headed about it.
Okay.
I made some bad decisions. Picking up this guy shouldn't have been and
Yeah,
going.
picking up the guy from his girlfriend's house, that shouldn't have been.
No, it shouldn't have.
That shouldn't
but
have been.
when you don't know no better, you don't know no better.
Right.
You don't know no better.
Right.
We was
Well,
always.
your brother, you probably, that was one that you could have gone.
Where I'm from, we was always taught that the police was the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Tell police you run. Even though I've been standing on the corner as a teenager, doing nothing, committing no crime, a police come, we just take off running.
Right.
That's because the community ain't teaching us nothing. And,
Right.
and the police is, they just doing what they doing, chasing black people.
Okay, all righty. Okay, so I'm trying to get you to make your mind go back to the early 90s and figure out, or no, the 80s.
Yeah, because the 90s I was incarcerated.
Yeah, the 90s and 80s, and figure out if you finished that probation, what violated you and sent you. Did you ever go to state TDC in Huntsville? Did you ever go through the state system to prison?
When I violated, they sent me through the. I just went through and came out.
Right. Back in the 80s, it was
Just in and out.
In and out. Everybody was in and out. Okay,
In
so
and
you
out.
didn't stay in there long.
No, went in and literally in and out, go and gone in a couple of weeks.
Okay. All right. So that was state. And so then, do you remember what year that was that you went to Huntsville, in and out?
Maybe 80s. I don't know. 87,
Long
80s.
time ago,
It's been
okay.
a long time ago.
Okay. Prison, in and out. All right. So then talk about how you got your federal case.
Man, that was something. I I was going down 73 going to Port Arthur, and somebody had did something that they shouldn't have did, and I was going down there to do something that I went to jail and didn't get a chance to do. And flying, going down 73, had just bought this new pickup and got pulled over. And the police officer, it was 2 Europeans. I'm gonna call them Europeans, y'all can call them white. It was 2 European cops pulled me over. I'm not thinking nothing wrong because there ain't no tags, ain't nothing wrong with the truck or anything. And this one officer, I'm standing talking to one of them, and this other officer, he just keep easing towards the truck, because he asked me could he search the truck, and I told him no. But even though I didn't think anything was in the truck, the reason why I didn't think anything was in the truck because I told my then girlfriend, I said, hey, bring me this weapon. And when I went to look in the truck for it, I didn't see it. So I figured she forgot it. I said, well, there's some weapons down the street, so it's no big deal. And it was a weapon. She took the weapon, and instead of putting the weapon where I asked her to put it at, because that's why I went to search for it at, she put it inside of my bag. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know it was in the bag. Mm. And the police finally eased on. I'm talking to one policeman. He finally eased on back there, and he going through my truck. And I'm like, hey.
Now, who allowed him to go through your truck?
Nobody.
Oh, wow.
And he went through the truck, found it, and oh, look what I found. And I'm thinking that this officer planted this.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I charged the officer, and me and him wrestling, and then the other officer put the gun to my head, and hey, that's the end of it. And that's the last day of freedom.
Wow. And you had to do 17 years for that?
Yeah, because I was, I was in Port Arthur, and I was, at that time, I kind of ran Port Arthur. We talking about the drugs. Mm-hmm. And everybody knew this guy named Eric, but nobody knew what he looked like. Everybody knew this guy named Eric from Houston, but nobody knew what he looked like. And so when I got to jail, I was actually bonding out. Mm-hmm. Because, possession of a firearm by felony is it's
a third-degree felony in state court.
But before the gun laws changed, this was a misdemeanor. Okay. I would have did a violation.
Right.
And did 90 days and came home. But then the feds had already enacted a law, and they took over the case. As I was bonding out, and I was downstairs getting ready to come out.
Wow.
And as they was releasing me, the feds was coming in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, come on.
And that's how I ended up with a federal case. And then while I was incarcerated.
Did they take you to the federal detention center
no,
in Port Arthur, in Beaumont?
I stayed in Beaumont in the Jefferson County Jail. In Beaumont. I've stayed there for the whole entire time.
How long?
From 89 until I got my time in 90.
Oh, wow.
And they gave me...
Now, why did you get so much time?
Well, because
people for the possession of firearm now that are felons usually get about 5 to 10 years.
Oh, yeah, that was then. But see, they found out who I was.
Oh, you were the Eric behind the drugs.
Right.
But they didn't have no drug case for you, did they?
Yeah, but and the federal system is like this here. You don't have to have anything.
It's relevant conduct.
Yeah, you don't have to have anything. I mean,
right. That's true.
If someone comes and says, yeah, he sold me so-and-so, so-and-so.
Right, that's true.
That's a case.
That is. And in the feds, you don't have to have the drugs.
Yeah, you don't have to have
it. So you know how in state court where cops catch you with the drug, they do search warrants, they in a trial in a state case, the drugs are there. Yeah. They got to bring them drugs in there. A chemist has to test it, but the drugs have to be there. They have to be in the locker for a trial. But in the feds,
no. They don't have to be in it.
Oh,
they can get you for 20 kilos because people say they sold it to you.
Yeah.
The feds is all about hearsay. Yeah. That's the one thing that's different about it, and that's why so many people locked up for so long. It's all about what somebody said. If they might tap your phones, hear you talking about selling drugs, never sell it. But they'll get you for that.
Yeah, for that amount.
Yeah, for that amount. Even if you could be bullcorning somebody, but if they tapping your phone because you're supposed to be a drug dealer selling from a mechanic shop or whatever, and you're saying, yeah, man, someone said, well, look, we missed our kilo delivery. Do you think you can find somebody? And they say yes.
That's it.
They get you for a kilo.
Yeah.
You
never happened.
Do time for that?
Oh my God, that's what people do a lot of time for.
But you can actually do time in the federal.
And there's and nobody ever got any dope off the street.
Yeah, and say like for instance, I'm having a conversation with you, and I'm saying, hey man, I'm gonna give you 10 kilos. I'm gonna bring you 10 kilos. and I bring you 10 kilos of flour,
Yep, that you're still going.
I'm going to prison for 10 kilos. Hey man, this is flour.
In state court,
It don't
if
matter.
that's flour and it don't measure as kilos,
Then it's a
dope,
difference.
it's not dope. You can get arrested for it, but when the chemist tested 3 months later and it's not cocaine, then you don't get charged with cocaine.
Yeah. But in the feds, you do.
In the feds, you get charged for talking about it.
Yeah, it's the intent.
It's conspiracy.
You had it up here.
It's conspiracy.
Yeah.
Man,
If three or more people agree to commit a criminal act, it's conspiracy.
I don't even know if I'm gonna use my cell phone again. I ain't talking to nobody.
You better ask somebody.
Yeah.
You better ask.
talking to
You
nobody.
better not play.
Nothing.
If you talk about doing something illegal, you better be planning on doing it because you're going down for it. If
you shouldn't be talking about doing nothing. I mean, you shouldn't be talking about that kind of. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even be doing illegal stuff.
That's true.
I mean, you should understand the law, and there's repercussions. But most young brothers don't. They don't get that it's some repercussions. Like these young brothers out here taking these ATM machines and breaking in jewelry stores for this quick fix, and they don't see that. For instance, when I came home, all of my children except one was adults, and I was a stranger. And some of my children were upset. Some of them still a little, upset. And I have to explain to them that, hey man, I made a choice. I didn't go away because I wanted to. I went away because, man, I did something I shouldn't have
just think how simple that was. You're telling your girlfriend to put a gun in the car. It's in a different spot. And the cops have basically illegally searched. They didn't have probable cause to search your car.
Yeah,
so
but see,
why didn't you fight it?
I mean, you can't. In the feds, it's hard to fight the feds.
It is hard to fight.
Because don't be disillusioned about your peers, a jury of your peers. Because the 12 Europeans that were sitting in the box, I had never seen them before, never spoke to them. It was no brothers in the jury, it was no sisters in the jury. When they say a jury of my peers, we talking about my peers.
Yeah.
So my peers would be in you going in my community and getting 12 people that understands my situation and my circumstances.
Right.
But you go and get somebody you putting these people on the jury, they're gonna say if the FBI arrested him,
he must have done it.
He must have done it.
And that is painful for the black community when you talk about jury of your peers, because peers in court, like in federal court, would be the Southern District that runs Beaumont.
Yeah.
It would be everybody that lives in that area. So, and if it's Harris County, your peers are the 4.5 million people who live in the county.
Yeah.
So peers under the law is not a racial peer. It's who lives in that community. So all Harris County cases are all the municipalities in Harris County, Bel Air, Jersey Village, the annexed part of Kingwood, Webster, Westview, all the constables, HPD, the sheriff's office. It's actually 86 police agencies in Harris County. And Harris County is bigger than 27 states, Harris County alone. So it's huge.
Wow.
So your peers are everybody that lives in the county. And if it's federal, it's whoever lives in that federal jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And it's serious.
And it's serious. And the problem with the minority community is we do a lot of complaining, but we know we're the first one that don't want to go to jury duty. So most of our European Americans believe in the Constitution and that they have to fully participate. And we need to have more of a servant attitude. We don't like the system, but we don't participate in it. And so you got to participate in it to make it work.
We're going to change all of that.
Well, I'm trying to, as I've preached through the years, that's one of the reasons why I do this show, to try to educate about the system through stories. As you bring up things, and I'm going to tell you what the law is, because I'm a board-certified criminal lawyer. So I'm going to tell you what the law is about it, and I think it's a more interesting way to learn. And to learn in many ways, the law and how to grow as people and as a community. But you got to participate from being the judges, the prosecutors, the defense attorneys, not just the people the accused. We have to be prosecutors at federal, we have to be state, because we can see what's going on. We also have to be jurors. We got to care enough about taking our time, if we get called for jury duty, to say we can be fair and impartial, because we are, and making sure the right thing happens in that jury deliberation room. But most black people fuss about the system, but then I used to always have people try to hire me for their sons, and like, I hope the jury's going to be fair. I hope it's black people at the jury, and I'd ask the mothers, and I know they're hard-working single mothers that would be hiring me, but do you go to jury duty? Mm-hmm. I mean, the people you want to judge your son are you.
Yeah.
If you don't go, if you don't care enough about going and spending a week out of your time to go and make sure the right thing happens, then why do you think somebody else is going to do it? So we can't always just blame other people for it. We have to participate. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It doesn't work for us because we don't participate.
But the system don't educate us. The system, we
That's what we're doing now. We're educating people.
The system don't educate.
20 years I've been on this bandwagon for a long time. That's why I produced this show, so we can talk about it. Young people can watch it. That's why we put it on YouTube, so they can understand that. I've told many a mother that they have to participate in the system. You got to give up your time. You can't expect somebody else to give up your time and care about your kid.
But you got to believe that the system is fair. I mean,
but understand this. A lot of times why you need minorities, the person might have done it, so you're going to vote guilty. But in Texas is still one of the few states, if it's a Texas state case, that the jury can decide the punishment. So if you have a jury that doesn't look like you and all they think you do is look like a criminal, they might give you 60 years for something that if you had somebody that looks like you that says, well, I think all they need is 10 years.
Right.
Every vote counts. It has to be unanimous. You understand what I'm saying? If it's not unanimous, they can explain why they think somebody that's 21, when they get 31 and get out of prison, that they might be a changed person. But you can you can have that diversity of conversation in the jury room, but you got to be there to do it.
Right.
So it happens. I've had people on the show that were jurors that believed in doing it because their children got railroaded. Some people do.
Yeah, but I mean, some has to happen.
And it changes. When I was a defense attorney for 22 years, whenever I had 3 minorities on a jury, they saw things the way I did. So it's happened. It happens. I mean, if you check my record, I had a good win record, but it was because I could usually get minorities coming. We're coming more and more. There's a lot of community groups that are talking this talk, that have the talking points. A lot of the young people are coming because they've been taught by their groups. Black Lives Matter, other groups before then, NAACP, TOP, Urban League. The young professionals are being taught by the old professionals like me, you got to do your civic duty. It's not just protesting and complaining.
Yes.
You got to give your time to be on grand juries for 3 months. You got to, if you don't think the case should be no bill and you think the people are being treated, that's your time to right the wrong and speak out.
Yeah.
Not on Facebook, but down here at the courthouse. And so they're doing it more. You'd be surprised, actually.
No, I wouldn't.
From your day, from the 80s. Because in the 80s, we weren't coming like we should have.
Community's gotten worse. I mean, the communities, I'm from Fifth Ward. You go through Fifth Ward, it's worse. Cashmere Garden is worse. Trinity Garden, Northwood Mountain, Acres Home. Acres Home is probably the best. I'm talking about, when we talking about our communities, it's probably the best one. Everything else is dead. What
about Pleasantville? I hear good things.
Pleasantville is dead.
It's dead.
There's no hope. There's no hope in our community. It wasn't any hope. I'm bringing back hope to the community.
I think it's turning around, but it does take people like you who've been there, done that, and is willing to give back and talk the talk and talk to the children and let them know. Even if you make a mistake, you can come back. You can come back. We don't want them to make mistakes. We don't want them to do crime. Because, a lot of people who've done 10, 15, 20 years, you think even if you didn't have a big-time job, if you just made, $10 an hour times 20 years, just think how much money you'd have compared to giving it away, sitting in jail. I've calculated for some of my ex-clients, you could have made $200,000 in the time you were in prison. Don't sound like a lot of money, but because you get it over time, but you make $30,000, $40,000, your girl make $30,000, $40,000, you can go buy your $30,000, $40,000 house in the neighborhood and fix it up. It's bigger than an apartment. Put new carpet, new floors. I've had many of my clients do that. Go buy the crackhead's house, fix it up. You got walls, electricity, right? Instead of paying $1,200 a month for an apartment, you buy it, you won't be paying about $500 a month.
That's one of the things that...
And we have to take more pride in that.
That's one of the things that I was impressed with Eric was, the fact that so many brothers I see come home from prison, whether it's state, whether it's federal, and, a lot of them, they'll get out and try the job thing, and I try to promote to them, before you get disencouraged and lose hope in being free, don't try to catch up from where you left off, just catch in. But at the same time, I tell them, think about something that you want to do as far as starting your own business, so that'll take the excuses out of you can't get no job because you got X on your back. And that's the one thing I was very impressed with to this day about Eric. You know, he always had a plan. You know, I done heard his plan from the time he came home into now, and he had a plan, but he's working it. And then to have so many people employed, you know, this is a brother that come from federal prison, and now he got 3-4 different businesses and employing a lot of people. And I'm like, man, this is what time it is.
Right.
This is what the youth need to be able to see, that, man, just because you got that X on your back, man, don't let that be the one thing that just hold you into just giving up on yourself.
Wow. Well, I want to talk about how you did it, but tell me how you created, because, I mean, this was just a fluke you drive and you end up at 17 years in prison. How did you deal with that mentally and emotionally? Because that's a big deal.
Well, for me, it actually wasn't.
Really?
No. I mean,
And how many children did you have at the time?
8. Everybody was born when I left.
You had 8 children? Okay. Just like your mother?
4 boys.
Just like your mother?
Tried to catch Lou. So, my mind was made up. I mean, you know, I appealed and I did, you know, I didn't actually believe that they would give a man 20 years for
a gun.
Yeah, I didn't believe that. And so after it took me a few years to settle in, you know, once I settled in, I think about all the things that I did do that I didn't get caught for. And I think about, hey, well, God may have put you here for a purpose. So you need to find out why you're here. And, you know, and I just settled in and just, you know, did my time. I've never complained about being in prison. I'm like, because, you know, it's prison, especially federal prison, nothing like you think. I mean, it's definitely not like the state. You know, federal prison, you got air conditions. I mean, when I first went to federal prison, you had everything. I didn't have to wear a uniform. I can wear regular clothes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What
federal
year was
prison, that? Let's say 91.
Oh, 1989.
I was still in the county in 89. I went to prison in 90.
But it started.
I was in 89.
You never got out.
No, I never got out.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just a mind.
Did you go to prison in Beaumont, the federal prison in Beaumont, or did they send you somewhere else?
The first place I went to, very first prison I went to was 3 Rivers in Texas.
Where is that?
It's in 3 Rivers, Texas.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. I never even heard of that.
Yeah. I went from 3 Rivers, Texas to Terminal Island, California.
Terminal Island?
Yes. I went from Terminal Island, California to USP, Atlanta.
Okay.
Lewisburg, Leavenworth.
Wow, you did them all then.
FCI in Florence.
Florence what?
Florence, Colorado. Went to the medium in Beaumont. Went to the low in Beaumont. And then I went to Oakdale, Louisiana. That's where I came home from.
Wow. So what would be the reason for them transferring you?
Because they said I was an instigator. Because once I knew the law, once I understood the law, and once I understood how the justice system went, you know, if a brother or somebody was wrong, they would come to me.
Okay.
And, you know, we go in the law library and we write it up, and, you know, and brothers started listening to me, you know, but, you know, I became a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, you know, and in the Moorish Science Temple of America, it started teaching me that, hey, you need to know the law. If you don't understand the law, then, you know, anybody can say anything or they can tell you anything. So what I did is I spent my days in the law library.
Did you not have a restriction on how long you could be in the law library?
No, only time you can't be in the law library is when you're at work. If you're not at work, you can spend all day. If you're not working, you can go in the law library from 7:30 to 3:30, which is yard recall, and then you can go after, when they open the yard back up at about 4:30, you can go to the law library and stay until they close.
And what time was that?
Depends on if you was in the USP, probably 8:30. If you was in the FCI, probably 9:30, something like that. Depends on the level of security you in. So I've been in, the only prison that I haven't spent any time in, I spent the night in the ADX.
What's that?
That's the Supermax in Florence, Colorado, where they had Timothy McVeigh, and
Oh, okay.
you know, I spent the night in there because of a riot. Every time something transpired in prison, they came in and
Move
locked me
people
up.
around.
No, they just locked me up
Oh, okay.
because they say I'm an instigator. They say that I'm always instigating, but the truth is I've never instigated anything. It's just that I instigate justice. You know, hey man, that y'all did to this to this guy, and it wasn't right. And so I started standing up, you know.
People.
And when you stand up, hey, soon as something happened, you're on a bus. I remember one time I spent 22 days on an airplane. You know.
22 days on an airplane.
Yeah. What they would do, they call it diesel therapy. What they do to you is they'll put you on an airplane and they'll fly you. You know, these planes, you know, if you ever seen a picture of a slave ship, these planes look like just like that. You shackled hands, waist, and feet. And they'll put you on a plane and they'll take everybody else where they want, what the institution that they're supposed to be going to, and they'll take me to a county jail. And I stay in the county jail for about maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then they'll wake me up, put me back on another plane, and I ride, and then they'll take me to another county jail.
So that's a punishment.
That's a punishment.
Wow.
I've never heard of that before.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. The feds have their way. I mean, you know, they yes sir, no sir. They, you know, they real respectable, but I mean, you know, hey, the fed worse than the state when it comes to being dirty, because they can be dirty in such a way where ain't nothing you can say or do about it.
Right, right.
Like, for instance, when I finally got off of the diesel therapy after so many days, because I hadn't had a hot meal in that many days. The only thing I've had was a bologna sandwich, which I don't eat the meat. So
Bread, baby.
I had the bread with an apple and a juice. And this juice that they give you is so tart. So when they finally took me to an institution where I can eat, I couldn't, you know, because I throw up every day.
So it messed their system
Yeah,
up.
it mess you up. It mess you up. You know, you can't. The feds. I mean, they. If you go online and look up my name, and you'll see a case in Colorado where they beat me up. I done been beat up by the feds.
What?
Oh yeah, the feds. Oh yeah, because they say I'm an instigator. But this is the one thing I never do. I never instigate against something. If a brother was wrong, then I tell him, you know, hey, man, you got to own that.
Yeah.
You got to own that. You did that. You got to straighten that. You know, I'm not going in here challenging these people for something that you know you did. Now, if you right, man, I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna bat with you. If you wrong, you got to own that. You got to stand up for that. And you know, I learned everything in prison. You know, I learned how to talk, you know, publicly, and you know, I learned, you know, I mean, prison is not good.
Right. No way in the world. It's
No
gonna be
good. I mean, I can't think of one thing that I liked about prison. You know, I can't think of one thing I like about prison, but I know that.
And I'm glad you're saying that, because I just had one of our European brothers tell me, but people, they think it's hard, it's good to go to prison. I said, no, that's an adaptation skill. If you have to go, then you're going to try to be tough. You're going to have to own up. You're going to have to man up if you don't want. That's a survival instinct. That doesn't mean you like it. I said, so don't say people like prison. Nobody likes being locked up. Man's desire is to be free.
Yeah.
So no man wants another man to lock him up. But because people adapted to slavery. That doesn't mean that they wanted to be slaves.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. People adapt to being lower income or uneducated. So let's not say people, I don't let, and even though I'm in this business, I don't let people say, oh, they like to be, that's a badge of honor. No. They just know that when they walk in, they're going to walk in walking tough because they don't want anybody to punk them. I mean,
right.
Some people don't act tough.
The feds is actually not like that.
Even in court, though, like, especially the younger the offenders are, they might walk in tough, swag, and they might be 16 in juvenile court. And so that makes people who are judging them think that they're liking this. You see what I'm saying? But they're playing some mind games with this whole system and other people that are looking at them. Some people have a lot of theories about when you walk into a prison, even adult prison, that you're going to get punked if you don't walk in tough.
Well, now on a state level, that's true.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So don't be a lawyer or a judge and just be judging people saying they want to be there because of what you've observed them doing. That's their survival instinct.
Yeah, you got to survive in prison.
Yeah, you got to survive.
But if in the federal prison,
You can't be in the courtroom crying when there's other people in the courtroom, and you gonna have to go back there to the jailhouse with them. I mean, how you gonna be in there crying like a
That ain't
baby
gonna work.
when that ain't gonna work? When you get back, they gonna punk you when you get back to jail. So I said, no, they not. They acting like that because of a different reason. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
You right about that?
survival.
That's survival.
But the feds is different. You know, it's nothing.
It's
like
more
that.
mind games. It's on a high level.
It's on a high level.
It's on a higher level.
It's on a whole.
I did a lot of federal cases when
Yeah,
I
the
was
federal is in. They need more brothers and sisters practicing federal law, but federal law is not like the state. They go by guidelines and levels.
Oh yeah.
You
No,
know,
I've tried a lot of cases. In fact, I won my first federal trial in 1998. I was representing one of the guys with the rap-a-lot thing. The one guy that got the most time, I think his nickname was Spook, 17 years. But my guy actually got away. His name was Keith Ballard. So no, I've tried a lot of federal cases.
Spook,
I've
that's
actually
mine.
won. Yeah, I was a part of that
You
trial.
know, that's my related. I mean,
I was a part of that trial.
yeah.
So it was bifurcated. So he went with Russell, whatever his nickname was, Cash, and then two other ones. They went in separate times. Same case, but you know, if one person's had a conviction and the other person hasn't, or one person might talk against the other one, it used to call it Bruton hearing. You could separate the
them.
trials, and so my guy was separate. So I've won federal Medicaid trials. I was the second black lady in Texas to be board certified in criminal law. So
Oh, that's
everybody
great.
knows me.
That's big.
Everybody in the criminal arena knows me.
That ain't no easy.
So
feat.
no.
you
So
need-
I've had them. I've lost them too, but I've won.
You know Lori Chambers Great.
I do.
Yeah, I just went to her inauguration.
Yeah, I do. They're a little younger than me, but I know 'em. Yeah, I went back to the DA's office to make changes, to help make changes with Kim Ogden. We've made some good changes.
Yeah.
But
I would like to see those.
well, we've diverted over 8,000 young people with marijuana. So if a police officer stops you right now with marijuana, although I know you don't do weed, and you have 4 ounces or less, no matter what your record is, the police officer will say, do you want to sign up for the marijuana diversion program on the street? You give him your name and information. He's going to tear off a sheet of paper and tell you, get to this email right here, this website, click there, pay $150, go on a Saturday, take a 4-hour class, and nothing will ever happen to you. That's what I did, and Kim Og did. And we've diverted
Kim Og.
Kim Og is the district attorney
In Houston?
in Houston, in Harris County, and I'm the chief of staff, one of her first assistants.
Yeah, I didn't vote for her.
And we wrote that program. Well, the other one was Devin, who was Devin Anderson, who was a Republican. But I'm just telling you, we wrote that program, and we diverted over 8,000 people. So they liking us for that.
and
we're not decriminalizing because we can't. The law is still illegal, but we have gotten all law enforcement, all 86 agencies to agree. We even spent $75,000 on lockers for HPD to take the dope there and not the lab. Because if they take the dope to the lab, when they take it off the street, they got to test it. So we bought lockers for them to lock it up, and after the 90 days, when the people take the class, then they get to destroy it. So, I mean, that's huge. That's a diversion program
that's
from
a
the
good
street.
thing.
And psychologically, what it seems like it's done is less people are searched in their cars because you can't take them, because they've agreed not to take them to jail. So we started that March 1st of 2017, and as of 2 weeks ago, we had diverted over 8,000 people. Now, we've had to issue a few warrants because people didn't mind and didn't take the class in 90 days. And the way we wrote the program is no matter how many times you did it, we let you do it. As long as you finish the 90 days, finish the class. If it happened again, just happens again. We don't care if you've been to prison. The only exceptions that we have is if you're on probation right now. And if you do it at a school, the ISD police wouldn't cooperate. So they just said, no, we want to arrest them if they do it, have dope at the school.
I don't blame them on that.
But anything else, it doesn't matter what your record is. It's not a first chance program. You can be 60 years old. So you could be on the marijuana program right now. Nobody could ever look up your record because you don't get booked. You don't get taken to jail. So there's nothing. All we have is some information that we have on an Excel spreadsheet at the DA's office. So I'm just telling you, it can't be no more reform than that. And then when we get to about 30, 60 days and they haven't taken the class, every 7 days we call them and text them. We got a program, we bought a little program to text them and say, hey, your days are coming up. Go take this class. Go take this class. And the $150 goes to the probation officer that teaches the classes because it's an extra job for them on Saturdays. So I don't think it gets too much better than that.
That's pretty good.
And anything that's 4 ounces of cocaine, no. So cocaine under a gram is a state jail felony. And I think 1 to 4 grams is a state jail felony. No, it's a third-degree felony. we divert, not on the street, because the police officers wouldn't do that, but they go to a program. If you get arrested, you go to a program called the Reintegration Court. And most of those people get some kind of help. And that's a grant from the MacArthur Foundation. So I'm just telling you, it's not, I mean, unless you're doing something that's really serious.
Houston got so many jails, it's just ridiculous.
But see, we've only been doing this for 2 years. So this is year 3. So this is we're just starting. So, but if you talk to the young brothers, they know about that. I don't know if you've heard people on the street.
Well, the one thing I've heard on the street, not so much as about the marijuana part, but
because that's mostly young people.
Yeah, the one thing I heard that is in place now up under Ms. Kim Morgan and yourself is this new thing where, by me being an education advocate and always fighting to keep the schools and all that of them, I did hear that there was that y'all issued some information to all of the captains in Harris County school police department and let them know that y'all not locking children up for a whole lot of stuff.
We're working on that right now.
Yeah,
So every year we work on a different program because we have to work together with the police because these things are still crimes and we don't have the right. The legislature in Austin makes the laws, not us. Our oath is to follow the law. So if we hear probable cause from a police officer, our oath is to file the charge. So that's why with the diversion on the street, we had to get the police officers to agree. So it's just like an agreement. It's not, so people are saying we decriminalize and we're not.
Yeah.
The law allows DAs to divert low level of crime.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that.
But a lot of the times it's diverted once they're arrested. We do a lot of diversions and pretrial interventions once they arrested, but they still getting the ride, getting the thumbprint, getting the booking photo. The beautiful thing about this is that no one ever goes to jail. You know, so there's no record of a jail record. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's no cleaner than that. It's not like getting it and then having to expunge it later. You're not getting it. I mean, that's big. Philadelphia's new DA, Larry Krasner, when he won, he came and studied it. I mean, people are studying what we're doing because we don't have cite and release. So cite and release, the officer would give you a citation, like a traffic ticket for a misdemeanor that you can be jailed for. But then they give you instructions to go and give you a booking photo, fingerprint, away from them. The cop just doesn't go off the street, but you still got to go do all the changes and show up for court, real court downtown. You see what I'm saying? That's what cite and release would do. We don't have cite and release because we have 86 agencies and they're not all on the same system.
Yeah.
So that's why that's never been done. But we did something better. So what we're working on with the juveniles, we're real excited about this, and Fifth Ward is coming into place. But what we're working on with juveniles, and we hope to start it like in August, is we've been meeting with all the school superintendents, all the ISD police, because you know it's a lot of them, Klein ISD, HISD, you know, Spring ISD, everybody has cops, and asking them, because we did an analysis in 2017, John Jordan, who is our juvenile division chief, did an analysis of the 11,000 juveniles were handcuffed, arrested, and brought to juvenile court. So juvenile is 10 years to 16 years old. They were brought to court, and he looked at it, he saw about 5,000 of the 11,000 are actually school-related, and that could have been handled by old school discipline that we had back in the day. And so, but we got to get, but back in the day, we didn't have police at there. You know, so when you have police at a school, then they have to do stuff, I guess, to justify their existence. I'm not anti-police, but they got to do something if they're there, right? And so we're trying to get the principals and everybody on board to handle it at the school.
Because they sending them to jail for disciplinary reasons.
Right, handle it
Somebody
at the school.
did something.
Well, when we analyzed it,
too much.
40% of all those 11,000 cases happened at a school. And I don't have all the statistics memorized. We have about 7 categories. But the ultimate one, that's the oldest, that's the bottom category is less than 1% went to TYC. So you know that they're not that serious because TYC, you go to TYC if it's aggravated robbery, aggravated kidnapping, aggravated sexual assault, or murder. If you're not certified as an adult.
Right.
But you're gonna go to prison, you're gonna go to TYC. Less than 1% went to TYC of that 40% of that 5,000. So that means that they weren't that serious. I think it was like 28% of them received some kind of deferred prosecution. So when juveniles are arrested, they have to go before a magistrate, you have to call their parents, and then they have to go meet with a juvenile probation officer before they go to court. It can be diverted at that level before they go to court. So they can receive deferred prosecution. I think it was about 18 to 20% were non-suited. That's the same as dismissed. For juvenile law is in the family code. So you have to use family code non-suit. It's a civil case.
And the The one thing.
So let me just add one more thing. So the thing we're excited about, we're working on that, and with a local lawyer named Joel Androphy and a group at Fifth Ward, they're trying to create like some community courts where if it happens at a middle school or high school in Fifth Ward, it will go to this community center in Fifth Ward. And maybe a judge will come out. We haven't worked through all the details, but we're trying to handle it in that community so they don't ever go downtown. If it's a serious crime like aggravated sexual assault, rape, or murder, then they'd go downtown. But we still might have a special court that all those go to because we're trying to start a pilot program in August. So we're working the details out because remember, everybody has to have a buy-in because we can't change the law. Right. But we can try to do something to say, hey, let's talk about this. Why do you have to put handcuffs on these kids? You know, let's work together to figure it out. So I'm hoping when we get it more worked out, I can talk to you about it.
Yeah.
I can talk to you and any volunteers in the community that have organizations. We need some buy-in to help so we can catch them at that level in their own communities and have some of the community members participate in what type of punishment they should get, kind of like community prosecution. So we're working on that with the kids. So your Democratic DA is trying to do something because the law isn't changing. You see what I'm saying? But we don't want kids criminalized at young. I mean, the research shows that children's brains are not fully developed until they're about 25. So.
But if she's doing something, I mean, see, if most times you all are sitting up in a workshop and y'all got your chemistry sets out and y'all doing the mixing and then you come out with the plan. No, you know, that's the wrong way to do it. You let the people know what you're doing.
Oh, they know.
And therefore, no, I didn't.
Well, no, I'm just saying there's an organization of community people that are involved, and I'm going to get more. So I told Art today, if you're interested, I'll invite you. Right now, they're just setting up the framework of it. But we plan to include the community people and have some type of community workshop. Right now, you got to have a facility that's dedicated to it. You got to have, some people that, it's a nonprofit involved where they're being paid to actually keep up with it. You see what I'm saying? So the structure is there. It's coming.
I hope it comes because our people suffering because of, the DAs, the mayors, the city council. We vote, we put you in office, and
get abandoned.
But I'm letting you know that there's a DA now that cares. So I do want you to be educated and enlightened by that. It took us 3 months to write that program. We started that in January when we got there in 2017, and March 1st it was off the ground. We were very proud of it because nobody else has ever gotten that buy-in. There have been chances like first chance programs where after the kids are arrested, then you send them to, but it had to be their first offense. They got this special contract to take a class or do some things, but they still had to go through the probation department. They still had to take out of school. When you go to court, they would divert them, but it was after they're arrested. Their fingerprints are in the system, in the AFIS system. Their faces there's a booking photo, and I'm calling them kids because 17 and over as an adult, so they would be in the system even though they're in high school. What we're doing is they never go to jail. You see what I'm saying? So that diversion program is very popular for people who deal with youth because people are not going to jail.
I think one of the things that I would like to add to it is like Eric, my son, he been for the last 10 years, my son been up under his wing.
Oh, good.
And he talks to him, even when I'm not around, when Kaufman's not around, he talks to him, he's a mentor to him. And so now my son is at Texas Southern, but he spends a lot of time with him.
Good.
But I feel that with the program that you're working on, the whole Fifth Ward, I think that such people like Eric, myself, it'll be good not to just have the normal politically connected people with the image of this person over here is with this organization. Just get some real people. Get some real people that everybody is aware that's for the community for real. Right. That's gonna be help selling this thing because it's a lot of fake people that hide behind these organizations. They be having a lot of hidden agendas. Right. So when the real people come around, it's almost like, oh no, we don't want to deal. Oh, Art Smith gonna be over. No. So it's like we're gonna need some real folks online.
Let's try not to do that. I don't want to do that. Another thing we've done in the last 6 months, it started September 1st, is you know how a lot of mentally ill homeless people do a lot of trespassing and the stores call them and arrest them? Mm-hmm. I don't know if y'all know this, but September 1st, we worked really hard. It took us 2 years, but we worked with all the police agencies, mainly HPD and the sheriff's office, because that's where most of the crime is, to get these store owners. So when they call them because they're trespassing or selling stuff on the lot, we're taking them to mental health facilities. It's called the Ed Emmett Mental Health Facility. It's downtown, kind of like in Midtown.
Yeah.
They can handle 41 people, and they triage them and try to get them their benefits, their disability, so they're not being taken to jail. And I get a report on those every day, how many we get, the resistance from the police we get. We try to call and negotiate with them and say, okay, because sometimes, police, if you homeless people or some of the mental people can kind of fight you and give you a hard time. So, sometimes it's hard to help, hard for police officers who are in the line of fire to help somebody that's fighting them, and stuff. But we're sending them to a mental health facility. It's called the Ed Emmett Mental Health Facility. And it was named after him before he lost the election in September. And that's downtown. And that's
trying to figure out, how did he lose there? How did Ed Emmett lose?
Well,
I liked Ed Emmett.
Yeah, we all liked Ed Emmett because Republicans wanted it to be all, elections are partisan.
I know that.
They're partisan, and so the Republicans won for 25 years with this, and so now it just kind of bit them finally. With Beto O'Rourke, he led the Democratic Party. But a lot of new people on the bench now because of that. The Black Girl Magic, a lot of people. I've ran for judge a couple of times by myself, and I couldn't win. It's a big county. It's 4.5 million people.
I remember.
So back in the day, I used to run, but because I wanted
to spend your own money.
And spend my own money.
Yeah, I remember that.
Going broke, having to refinance my house. I mean, I did it because I cared about the cause. The Black community likes to see judges, but if you really reach the height of your career, you make more than the judge does. Okay, because they are government employees. So a lot of people that do it, it's just a balancing act.
Yeah.
I don't want to, say anything negative, but it's just a balancing act. So, believe it or not, with this great conversation, we have 4 minutes. So, talk about what your current business is and what you've done to overcome the odds and obstacles. What are you doing?
I work every day. I purchased the first thing I did when I came home was I went to work for 11 months for this floor tile company for my brother, and I bought me a truck, started me a trucking company. And from the trucking company, I started Purchase Car Care. That's my dad's name. I started Purchase Car Care and Tire Center. From Purchase Car Care and Tire Center, I got Morris Motors. I own a dealership also. And December the 1st, I took possession of a auto parts store.
Wow.
So we have...
So are these family businesses?
No, these are
your businesses.
Yes. Morris Motors employs 2 people. Purchase has 2 people. The trucking company has 3 employees. And the auto parts has 4 employees.
Wow. So you got a lot of paperwork to do. So Morris, is it cars?
Morris Motors, we sell, it's a dealership.
Okay. And then what else do you have? I got Morris Motors, auto parts.
Purchase Car Care. I'm an inspector. I'm a state inspector.
Okay.
And the trucking company is Rapid Running Transportation, which 2 of my sons and 2 of their friends drive for that.
Okay.
I don't drive anymore.
Why not? You got too much to do. You got too many businesses.
Yeah.
So do you still live in the community, or did you move out?
No, I never leave the community. Can't afford to leave the community. You can't talk about uplifting the community from outside of the community.
That's true.
So,
But some people do that.
And we do everything, and everything that I do is for the community. Like my trucking company was, I was doing well. But me doing well and others not doing well, what's the purpose? So, start another business, pass the trucking company on to someone else. Like at Purchase Car Care and Tire Center, I had a guy that did 27 years.
Oh, wow.
He come home to a job. He's doing well. He lives by himself. He has 2 vehicles, and he did it because an opportunity was there for him to do it. We ain't asking you about your record, your past, or what you did. That don't matter to me. What you plan on doing going forward, that's all that matters. The auto parts store is 4 employees in there. And my employees get paid. I don't work anybody for 10, 11, $12 an hour. You can't take care of family for that kind of money.
Right.
So I believe that in people that work for you, you know, and they loyal to me because they know I'm loyal to them. And people that work for you, I mean, you know, you just gotta be fair. The auto parts does great. I don't take any money out of there.
Wow.
You know, I take no money out of the auto parts store
Wow.
because it's not. I didn't come up
That's
with the auto
with
parts store.
4 employees.
Yes, I don't take anything out of there. That's that.
You just put it all back into the business.
Everything goes back into the business. The Purchase Car Care and Tire Center. You know, that's where I get my money from.
You're a state inspector.
Yes, I get my money out there. State inspector, it's a mechanic shop. We do everything over there.
Now you see why I'm so excited about getting him here.
Yeah. I'm glad you did. That's inspirational, especially since you're giving people another chance in life. We have 1 minute. Tell me what you think of a final thing to say, but you tell me what you want to say.
Well, I just want to say that, you know, I want to, you know, have the people to continue to support, you know, the Fifth Ward series here with, you know, Truth and Justice. And as we keep bringing these special guests on, you know, I just want to continue to be an inspiration to the entire community because I got so many people lining up wanting to come on this show. And so we're going to keep it going.
All right. Thank you for getting people who want to tell their stories so that we can inspire people. It shows reruns at the station, but also it should be uploaded to YouTube on Friday.
Yes.
So talk to me. What do you want to tell people about life after incarceration?
It's possible. I mean, you know, they talk about the American dream. I don't know what that is, but I know that there's nothing that you can't accomplish. Nothing. I mean, if you put your mind to it, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. There's no heights that's impossible. I mean, and I'm proof. I own all of my businesses. You know, I own all of my vehicles. I have committed no crimes to get where I'm at. I've made more money in the time that I've been out than I did in any criminal activity.
Good for
You know,
you.
That's big, man.
That is big. That's big.
I'm well respected in the community. I mean,
Highly.
you know, everybody comes to me for advice, and I give it. You know, and I'm honest. You know, people gonna tell you that I'm mean. I'm a hard man to deal with, but you know, I'm honest. You know, one thing that I've learned is that if you do it the right way, it's more success. Just do it the right way.
Do it the right way. Well, wait, I'm getting the wrap up sign up here. So I'm excited that Eric Russell Ell came and told his story tonight. It's inspirational. 17 years in the federal penitentiary, and now he owns 4 businesses, and he's been out for 12 years. Thank you, Art, for the Fifth Ward series, for being proud of the Fifth Ward community, raising it up. We know there's a lot of struggles out there, but each one of us can do something to make it a little bit better. And as we do it collectively, and like I said, I will definitely include you guys in what we're doing in Fifth Ward as the blueprint jumps off the table. Okay.
Thanks for the opportunity also.
Thank you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in again. Tonight we have something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where I try to educate real stories. Really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where